below average hooked on phonics in July of '93. At this year's PTA meeting, her teacher said she showed dramatic improvement. In fact, last week she was awarded Student of the Month. She said, "Mom, this is the happiest day of my life. Thank you, Hooked on Phonics."
To learn about Hooked on Phonics, call 1-800-ABCDEFG. Results vary.
Get a pencil and write down this number, 1-800-USA-SLEEP. If you want a quality American-made mattress at the lowest price, you can now order direct from the factory. Call 1-800-USA-SLEEP. With almost 200 factories nationwide, no one can offer these tremendous savings on twin, full, queen, king, any size mattress delivered from a factory right near you. Call now, 1-800-USA-SLEEP. That's 1-800-USA-SLEEP.
Wayne Pharmacy, more than just a drugstore, a complete home health care supply center. Kenneth Wiggins and his professional staff supply so many needs vital to today's requirements. Medical supplies, including wheelchairs, hospital beds, oxygen equipment, and other medical supplies. A certified respiratory specialist, Chris Classen, is on staff to help you with all your needs and questions. Wayne Pharmacy keeps records for income tax purposes, as well as a cross-reference for safety on prescribed medications. All insurance forms are file-free. When you need a prescription filled, have your doctor request Wayne Pharmacy. There's free citywide delivery. For everything you may need in medicines and complete home health care supplies, remember Wayne Pharmacy. They're your neighbors, 2302 Wayne Memorial Drive. For complete information, call 735-4034. Wayne Pharmacy, Goldsboro. WGBR, Goldsboro's very own. This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
Good afternoon, 82 degrees, sunny skies. This is Wayne Alley with a 12 o'clock edition of WGBR News. The Wayne County Board of Education was told by Mrs. Kelly Jones last night that her daughter at Southern Wayne High School was given 10 boxes of donuts to sell in order to get a grade of 100 in science class. Mrs. Jones said it shouldn't be this way.
She sold all 10 of hers because everybody else did. I didn't pick up no donuts. One of the other parents took the privilege to bring me 10 boxes for my daughter. And I think that this is an issue and this is something that should be addressed because our kids should not be taught that this is the way to achieve grades.
Mrs. Kelly Jones, school board member Jim Parker said there's a policy against this sort of thing and it will be dealt with. Superintendent Darren Flowers asked Mrs. Jones for the teacher's name and said he will follow up. A multi-age continuous progress program will be offered in 6 classrooms at Meadow Lane School this fall. The Wayne Board of Education reaffirmed its support for the program after being given an overview by way of video presentation last night. The staff responsible for implementing the program indicated it is developmentally appropriate because it responds to the individual needs of each child academically, socially, and emotionally. The students will be grouped into heterogeneous multi-age classes. Some school board members made it clear they liked this idea, and they wondered out loud what other possibilities the program could offer. Students will remain with the same teacher for 2 years. A feasibility study by Wayne School Board member Carl Maples disclosed the metal building adjacent to the Royal Avenue office building of the Wayne County School System could be converted to 27 workstations, 13 offices, and several secretarial workstations at an estimated cost of $300,000, plus fees and contingency. The study by Maples is part of a continuing effort to get all the school's administrative staff under a single roof. His estimate was based on a construction cost of $20 to $25 per square foot. The school board instructed Superintendent Darren Flowers and Assistant Superintendent Pete Gurley to look at the proposal by Maples and to report to the school board's Building and Grounds Committee for comments and recommendations and to come back before the school board. School board members also requested a meeting between the Buildings and Grounds Committees of the school board and the county commission. Superintendent Darren Flowers told Grantham School Advisory Council Chairman Paul Brown at last night's budget hearing that the school board cannot comment on specific projects until the Board of County Commissioners allocates a specific amount of money. Flowers explained that the board doesn't know what to do until it gets the money. Chairman Peggy Massengill told Brown the budget hearing was to hear requests from the public and assured him he'll get answers to all his questions later. Brown wanted to know the status of a proposal the Grantham community had offered for correcting the vehicular traffic hazards in the driveway of that school. Wayne County Board of Education members got an overview of the developing high school apprenticeship program at last night's meeting. And the only concern registered was the question of picking an equal number of students from each high school to be candidates for the program. Board member Jim Parker pointed to the selection of the same number of students from each high school to be a candidate for the program and said while he supports the program, he opposes an equal allotment. He suggested larger high schools should have more candidates. Vocational Education Director Ed Cromartie said the equal number suggested for starting the program is only to create the first pool of students from which industry can draw. Cromartie, in response to a question, agreed that the equal allotment being used this time is not written in stone and is subject to change, and the matter was referred back to committee. News time coming up on 12:04. The Wayne County Board of Education appointed Tommy Cox to fill the seat of Dr. O.R. Stovall, vacated on the Board of Trustees of Wayne Community College. The Distinguished Citizen Dinner honoring Jack Cannon last night raised nearly $63,000 for operating expenses of the Tuscarora Council of Boy Scouts. Scout Executive Bill Lappin announced that sum after the family unveiled the official portrait at that dinner. The Goldsboro City Council awarded contracts totaling more than $5 million for construction of the new city water plant and decided to rebid the electrical work, which came in considerably over estimate. A Columbia, South Carolina firm was awarded the nearly $3.2 million contract for the general mechanical work. The Goldsboro City Council instructed the city manager last night to prepare a resolution listing the council's objections to apartment complexes being built on a portion of the undeveloped property of the Willow Run planned unit of single-family townhouses. The Weather Center forecast is next. I'm Wayne Alley.
From shiver to sizzle, winter to summer, Phillips 66 Trop Arctic Motor Oil can give you the hot-cold protection and everything in between. Inside your car's engine, the temperature can go from winter to scorching summer in minutes. That's the protection Phillips 66 Trop Arctic is engineered for. Just look for Phillips 66 Trop Arctic Motor Oil in the classic black bottle. Hot, cold protection, and everything in between. Available at Phillips 66 stations near you. Phillips 66 products distributed by Griffin Oil Company, 511 South John Street, Goldsboro.
Growing tobacco seems about as complicated as fixing the Hubble telescope or being president of the fair board. Lots of work and lots of details. So any way you can simplify getting in a new crop is something worth looking at. Orthene 75S in your setter water can help. It gives systemic action, working from the inside out against flea beetles, aphids, and cutworms. Plus, Orthene is a non-restricted use insecticide, so there's no need for a special license to buy it or use it, or coveralls when you're mixing or applying it. Putting Orthene in your setter water eliminates aphid buildup because it keeps working for 3 to 4 weeks after transplanting. In fact, studies show that proper full-season use of Orthene can yield up to 300 extra pounds of tobacco per acre at harvest. Increase yield and fewer complications. Give you more time to improve your mind. And maybe you can figure out how to program your VCR. Orthene 75S. It'll help.
Bianco, I want to compliment you on your choice of bumper music yesterday and congratulate you on the flawless execution of your engineer and technical duties. First time in a long time. Rather than say this to you privately where only you would hear it, I say it before the entire audience. Because I appreciate how you just stepped in here yesterday and added to the show. Good to have you with us. Oh, boy. Greetings to you conversationalists all across the fruited plain. It's the Rush Limbaugh program with Lobianco.
This is a special edition of the Rush Limbaugh program, America Held Hostage. And now, from our studios in New York City, here is Rush Limbaugh.
All right, where are we? Day 455 of the raw deal for the poor and the middle class today. Day 474 for the rich and the dead. There are 1,011 days of aimless foreign policy and damaging domestic policies left to go in this first term of the Clinton administration. Happy you're with us, folks. 800-282-2882. What's the problem, Mr. Snerdley? First term, well, you never know. You never know. Anything can change in politics. Here's a couple lighthearted notes to start the program with. The programming note at first. Tonight, ABC News Nightline takes the night off and will do a special hour-and-a-half Viewpoint. They do this occasionally. The program is in Des Moines, Iowa. They're going out to the hustings to cover this story. Has the press been too intense on Whitewater? Has the coverage been just too much and unrealistic? Now, I have been invited to be on the program, and I agreed to appear. I will be appearing from New York. I'll be the only one there by satellite. It's always tougher on a satellite crowd. And in that case, that's me, because you really can't see anybody. You can only hear them talking, and so I will not be able to see what you people see watching the show, because there's a satellite delay of a couple seconds that screws you up if you try to watch it. So you can only listen, and so you can't see when somebody's about to interrupt you. You can't you can't see who's about to speak, so that you select your places. But nevertheless, here's who's on the panel. Robert Bartley, and we're going to give 1 point each for solid conservative and solid liberal here. And then we're going to measure the panel and see how balanced it is. So we got Bartley from the Wall Street Journal. He's the editor. That's a solid conservative. That's 1 point. And you got me. And that's a solid point, so that's a total of 2. We have James Carville, paid political representative of the president, who is a solid 1 point liberal. Then we have Geneva Overholtzer, who is the editorette of the Des Moines Register, and she's got to be a solid 1 point liberal. So that's 2 to 2. Then we have Max Frankel, the retiring editor of the New York Times. That's 3 liberals. And Floyd Abrams, who is a First Amendment lawyer, who thinks the press has gone too far on Whitewater. So that's 4. And then Britt Hume of ABC News, the White House correspondent. We've given Britt a half point both ways. So the way the program lines up tonight, it's 4.5 liberals versus 2.5 conservatives, which in the modern media today is balance. And that will be that will be the lineup tonight on ABC News Viewpoint. They will have their setup in Des Moines with a live audience, and the live audience will get to ask questions. I will be in New York, originating from a secret location, available and viewable only by satellite. So that's, again, tonight at 11:30. I figure in many cities I'm going to be competing with myself, because my own television show runs sometime between 11:30 and 1 in many cities, which brings us to Arsenio Hall. Arsenio gone! Last show will be May 27th. I don't know this is a good idea for Arsenio to leave. Turn that audience loose at night without his show to watch. You never know what might happen. So I'm prepared here to maybe make a plea to Paramount to keep the show on the air. Either that or institute caning here in the United States. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is said that the reason Arsenio Hall's gone is because his numbers have fallen in competition to Jay Leno and David Letterman. Now, normally, I don't often speak of myself, and I often don't toot my own horn. I'm bigger than that. But there are those occasions where I think you people, the audience, need to be aware and have to know just how successful you are in all of this. In virtually every one of these stories that chronicles Arsenio Hall's demise, not once is the Rush Limbaugh show mentioned in the mix. Now, that's probably because the media, the entertainment media, still doesn't know what my show is. They're out there demanding that television do something new and untried, so we're doing that, but it doesn't count. It also perhaps is because in many places my show doesn't air at 11:30, so it's not viewed as a direct competitor. But if you look at it in the context of syndicated shows, Arsenio Hall's show is syndicated and mine is, we got news yesterday. This is before anybody knew about Arsenio. We got news yesterday that Rush Limbaugh, the television show, is the #2 late-night show in America in terms of share, in terms of number of people watching the show. We have a 20 share. The only person ahead of us is Letterman at like a 27 or 29. Then everybody else trails. And within the context of syndicated late-night shows, we're number one. We are it. I tell you this only because I thank you for it. You're the viewers, many of you are, and you've made it happen. And we're just not reported on regarding the television show. It's hardly ever written about or mentioned. And even in the context of what's happening in late-night TV, we are always left out. And so that's why I make mention of this to you at this point. Also, the May issue of Esquire magazine, Lyle Lovett is on the cover. And what's the title of it? This issue, the theme of this issue is How to Be a Man. Who do you think is mentioned as one of the men redefining what it is to be a man in the 90s? Right, Lobianco, me. Let me read to you, this is from page 58 of Esquire magazine. For months, astride the world of nonfiction, looking down on books about near-death experiences and the hidden life of dogs, stood a duo who, reluctant to some of us maybe to claim them as our own, have achieved astonishing heights of popularity largely because they've thumbed their noses at feminist sensibilities. Rush Limbaugh and Howard Stern. You know, the only reason I am lumped with Stern is because our books came out 1 month apart. If it weren't for that, this wouldn't be taking place. But I'll live with it. You roll with the punches. Goes on to say here, tellingly, though they despise each other, both profess actually to love women. I don't despise Stern. I've never met Stern. It says here, it's just that Stern and Limbaugh love women the old-fashioned way. And then they quote me from my book. My second bestseller, See, I Told You So. They quote this: some militant feminists apparently harbor such animosity for the opposite sex that they want to criminalize the process of courtship. I have news for these people, Limbaugh writes. It's normal for boys to pursue girls. It's natural for men to pursue women. Can you imagine stating something so simple is news? Something so simple and so true, so traditionally accurate, something so defined by nature makes news? That's how screwed up our society is these days, that kind of statement can make a feminist angry and claim that I am a guy full of hate? Jerry Seinfeld is also one of the other three. It's Seinfeld, me, and Stern, who are, gee whiz, who are considered to be the people to tell other men how to be men in 1994. Now, I haven't read the whole piece, so I don't know if Lyle Lovett's even mentioned. Did you read it? Is Love... He's not mentioned. Well, maybe it's not even about that. Maybe he's in a chapter on how to get a girl or something, because he could be of use there. So, anyway, there you have it, my friends. Coming up on the program today, the world has weighed in with its opinion on the president's Bosnia policy, or lack thereof, and all it does is echo things that we said yesterday. Once again, proving that if you listen to this program, you're on the cutting edge of societal evolution. You'll hear things here before you'll hear them in the mainstream. Washington Post is particularly harsh. The Times of London is particularly harsh. New York Times is particularly harsh today. And the reason for it is that there's no other way you can be. This is an embarrassment. This is the first time U.S. troops have been under the command of the United Nations. This is the first time that we sat around and waited for some other body to decide what to do policy-wise with our troops, with our planes, with our weapons. And you contrast this with the way George Bush assembled a coalition to fight another aggressor, Saddam Hussein, in Iraq, and you'll find absolutely no comparison whatsoever. I also told you, I will go back to this, in the fall of 1992, just after the election, I predicted on radio and TV that Mr. Clinton's administration would be pockmarked more by foreign policy than domestic policy. And that looks like that there's a lot of truth in that as well. New York Times today details some of the political restrictions on this latest, well, not latest, on our entire military involvement. It's just... well, there's no reason why we're there with these kinds of political restrictions. It's Vietnam all over again. It's sad. It's embarrassing. It is humiliating. Warren Christopher has said that the United States is now planning a vigorous roll against the Serbs. What does that mean? That Mr. Christopher is going to wake up? That we're going to become vigorous as such? New York Times also points out that whereas other presidents had a national security briefing with their national security advisor and staff first thing every morning, Clinton does it once a week, if that often, usually on Thursdays, doesn't care much about national security meetings. So there's that to discuss. There's a fascinating story about Social Security. Your old buddy and mine, Dan Rostenkowski, wants to raise taxes and cut benefits for Social Security recipients. I ran some numbers. I'm going to share with you the results of my work with the computer and running the numbers, my own floating point math coprocessor. You will not believe this. When I give you these numbers, you will then understand the futility, the absolute futility of this nation deciding that it can support 42 million citizens. That's how many Social Security recipients there are. 42 million. You will realize the futility of our attempt to support these people in a humane way. It's just not possible, given the amounts of money involved. So, a lot of other stuff, too. Here, look at this. Look at this. Headline, New York Times front page. Hartford, Connecticut, seeking a company to run its public schools. Unions denounce idea. They're losing money left and right in the Hartford public schools. They want to turn it over to somebody to run them. Privatize. More on the Endangered Species Act, what's really going on with that in his attempt to grab people's private property, prevent them from using their private property. Mayor Giuliani here in New York has had some absolutely great things to say about why there is so much police corruption in the 30th precinct, which is in Harlem. He blames it on General Dinkins' previous policies regarding drug arrests. It's great. It's amazing. It's fun. It's been chronicled. Immigrants are getting better, higher-paying jobs in the United States than native-born Americans because they're outperforming them. They're doing better work. They are smarter. Interest rates on the way up, higher now than when Bill Clinton's economic plan went into effect. Yet Bill Clinton said that his economic plan was what made interest rates low. Well, if Bill Clinton's economic plan made interest rates low, then what is making interest rates go up? Because nothing's changed in Clinton's economic plan. And this is why Whitewater is important. Do we have a doozy of a show for you today? You stay right where you are, folks. We'll come back and get started with all the rest of it.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Hey, folks, I want to tell you about an important article appeared on the front page of the science section in the March 1st, 1994 New York Times. It was a rather comprehensive report on something called folic acid, or folate, or folacin. Now, I've heard about the important benefits of folate from my good friends at the Florida Department of Citrus. See, they've learned a lot about it, as have others. Now, you women out there, especially those of you of childbearing age, pay particular attention to this. Because the New York Times reports that folate is well established as critically important in preventing spina bifida and anencephaly, both devastating birth defects of the neural tube. A nationwide effort is underway urging women to increase their intake of foods containing folate. Now, guess what? Orange juice provides 75 to 109 micrograms of folic acid per cup. It's the leading source of this nutrient in the American diet, and Florida's growers produce the best juicing oranges. Drink it and love it.
You always know what to expect at Hampton Inn.
Well, it seems like everyone's friendly and ready to help. They really care.
Well, the rooms are fresh, clean, comfortable. Every time I stay there, I know I'll get a good night's rest.
With the free continental breakfast and free local calls, I always feel I get more than I pay for.
For a comfortable stay at a competitive price, experienced travelers trust Hampton Inn. You'll be satisfied or your night's stay is free. Call 1-800-HAMPTON now for reservations.
If you're a self-employed or small business owner, then grab a pencil and write this number down. 1-800-331-NASE. You'll be calling the National Association for the Self-Employed. NASE is one of the largest group associations in the U.S. Here are just some of the benefits you'll enjoy as a member. A true voice in Washington, travel benefits, free small business consultancy, and up to 45% off computers and software. Now, there are many more benefits, but the most popular one is the NASE-endorsed health insurance, underwritten by PFL Life Insurance Company. You'll receive your choice of doctors and hospitals anywhere in the world. You can't be singled out for rate increases or cancellations. For more information from the field services of the National Association for the Self-Employed, call 1-800-331-NASE. That number again is 1-800-331-NASE. Join the group that's looking out for you, the National Association for the Self-Employed. The number to call right now is 1-800-331-NASE.
Have you got spring fever for a new car or truck? See Leith Chrysler Plymouth Jeep Eagle and Leith Dodge Isuzu for big savings on 94 Dodge Ram pickups, automatic, AC, cassette, and more, only $238 per month. 1994 Dodge Sport pickups, V6, automatic, AC, and only $219 per month. For complete details, see Leith Chrysler Plymouth Jeep Eagle and Leith Dodge Isuzu, Highway 70 West, Goldsboro. Payments based on 20% down, tax and tags, and $138 doc fee extra.
Knowles Carpet has been serving Goldsboro and Wayne County for over 45 years with quality installation of carpet and floor covering. Family dedication to this business has been enjoyed by thousands of customers. Joining Carpet One 5 years ago gave Knowles Carpet the additional buying power of 450 other stores to bring you the best prices available. Put it all together and it means quality floor covering and expert installation by a truly family dedicated business. Knowles Carpet, your Carpet One store, 2311 Wayne Memorial Drive, Goldsboro.
Thank you, HR. Bum, 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 bum. The only radio talk show you will ever need. Listen to the Rush Limbaugh program. You'll find out everything that matters, everything that's important, and as a bonus, you'll find out what to think about it, too. You choose to agree, and you'd be wise to do so. 800-282-2882. We'll start in St. Louis. David, hello. Welcome to the Rush Limbaugh program.
Good afternoon, Rush. Pleasure to talk to you. This is David from St. Louis, and you have an operating room during the day listening to you now.
An operating room in St. Louis?
Yes.
So you're tuning in KMOX in St. Louis to hear that?
Yes.
How about that? How about that? That's going to be great for the patients that are under the knife.
Well, in anesthesia, they can just sleep right through you, and it's...
but I know, but the doctors are going to be extremely motivated and up listening to this show while they're doing their work. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
I was interested in your domestic policy earlier at the beginning.
Yes.
And this new story with the Family Leave Act.
I was hoping that's what you were going to mention.
Well, I'm a treasurer of a corporation, and we're right at the 50 mark cutoff, and I'm a physician. And what we're doing now is we have to offer this 12-week leave, and now I'm reading that not only do they want to expand it, but now you should also partially pay them.
That's exactly right. Now let's go back to when family leave was passed. If you were a listener to the Rush Limbaugh program, what you would have heard me say then was, folks, this is not the solution. This is not the end. This is the beginning of a problem. What they have just proposed is giving 12 weeks leave to people who want to raise a baby, stay with a sick relative, or what have you.
Right.
I said it's only going to be a matter of time before these people figure out that if at the same time all of us are but one paycheck away from homelessness, if we are all but one paycheck away from poverty, then how can we miss 12 weeks without pay? So they will soon say, not only must businesses give the 12 weeks of leave, but it won't be long before the businesses are going to have to pay the wages while on leave. And lo and behold, here it is in the front page of today's Wall Street Journal. A Carnegie Corporation of New York task force last week called for paying partial wages to workers who take family leave. Why? Many parents cannot afford to take long unpaid leaves, it said. Almost 1 in 5 women from low-income households take less than the medically advised minimum of 6 weeks, even though the Family and Medical Leave Act allows workers to take 12 weeks of unpaid leave. The soak continues.
It's killing business. I mean, it's destroying us, and you not only have to pay to have people replaced, but now they're going to want to pay the ones that are taking off.
Exactly. So you got to pay 2 people while 1 job is being done.
Exactly. And what it's going to force us to do is we probably will tighten our belts and try to stay under the 50 limit to avoid the law. Which
all right. Now I will say right now, I'm going to make this prediction right now on April whatever this is. This is the 19th.
Right.
On April 19th, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Once a number of businesses do what you're doing, try to stay under the 50 employee cap, then they will lower it to 40. If they find that you are evading their policy, they're going to lower it to 40. And
right.
You'll either be forced to fire 10 people to stay under it, or you will have to pay it. They look at businesses as bottomless pits of money, deep pockets. They have no concept. This is an offensive thing, so predictable, though. And again, look who pushed this. Militant feminist organizations who want everybody to be victims and not self-sufficient.
Well, it seems to me that and there was a gentleman talking yesterday about family or father government, and it just seems to me that the way Clinton can get reelected with he had a 43% mandate is the more people you addict.
That's right. You're exactly right. The more people you addict, the more votes you get. Hey, folks, listen to this. NASA has chosen verbal advantage, and I'm quoting now, to improve the vocabulary, listening, and communication skills of its employees who communicate with astronauts. How about that? NASA knows the importance of using the right words. Your success depends on it as well. Verbal Advantage audio cassettes work. I know it. NASA knows it. NASA knows it. So you learn more about Verbal Advantage success vocabulary now. Yourself. Call 800-28-TAPES. That's 1-800-28-TAPES.
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
This is Wayne Alley. A multi-age continuous progress program will be offered in 6 classrooms at Meadow Lane School this fall. The Wayne Board of Education reaffirmed its support for the program after being given an overview by way of a video presentation last night. The staff responsible for implementing the program indicated it is developmentally appropriate because it responds to the individual needs of each child academically, socially, and emotionally. The students will be grouped into heterogeneous multi-age classes. Some school board members made it clear they liked this idea, and they wondered out loud what other possibilities the program could offer. Students will remain with the same teacher for 2 years. Superintendent Darren Flowers told Grantham School Advisory Council Chairman Paul Brown at last night's budget hearing that the school board cannot comment on specific projects until the Board of County Commissioners allocates a specific amount of money. Flowers explained that the board does not know what to do until it gets the money. Chairman Peggy Massengill told Brown the budget hearing was to hear requests from the public and assured him he'll get answers to all of his questions later. Brown wanted to know the status of a proposal the Grantham community had offered for correcting the vehicular traffic hazards in the driveway of that school. The Wayne County Board of Education appointed Tommy Cox to fill the seat which Dr. O.R. Stovall vacated on the Board of Trustees of Wayne Community College. The Goldsboro City Council awarded contracts totaling more than $5 million for construction of the new city water plant and decided to rebid the electrical work, which came in considerably over estimate. A Columbia, South Carolina firm was awarded the nearly $3.2 million contract for the general mechanical work. The Crom Corporation was awarded the $934,000 contract for the clear water reservoir. Greenville Paving and Contracting was awarded the more than $882,000 contract for raw water main improvements. Mid-Eastern Mechanical of Wilson, the second low bidder, was awarded the contract for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Several people spoke at the Goldsboro City Council public hearing on a request from Wilbert Ray Hall for a change of zone on the west side of Wayne Memorial Drive between New Hope Road, and all spoke against it. Hall wants the property changed from a residential 16 to a neighborhood business zone. Speakers argued the proposed change is not compatible with the neighborhood and will add to traffic. Local and state experts in their fields will discuss what they view as the problems and solutions of troubled youth at a forum to be held in Goldsboro tomorrow. The Weather Center forecast is next. I'm Wayne Alley.
A cold front dropping into North Carolina tomorrow could bring an isolated shower or two along, but the chances at any given spot are quite low. The forecast then for this afternoon, mostly sunny, breezy, and warm. The high today 81 to 86. Then tonight, partly cloudy and mild, lows dropping to about 55 to 60 degrees. And for Wednesday, partly cloudy. There's an outside chance of a brief shower or thunderstorm. Highs tomorrow 78 in the north to 86 in the south. I'm Mike Moss at the Weather Center. WBR.
On the cutting edge of societal evolution. Rush Limbaugh from high atop the EIB building in Midtown Manhattan. One 1-800-282-2882. Back to the phones to Fairborn, Ohio, and Sheila. Hi, welcome.
Hi. Before I begin, I just wanted to say that I haven't been listening to you for very long, but I do enjoy your program very much.
Thank you. May I ask you a question?
Sure.
How did you swerve into, how did you stumble across the program? Somebody told you about it?
I don't know. I think I was just like, I was in the car one day and I slipped into the radio, the station, and I was looking for like a good talk show because I heard like they're real popular now.
Yeah.
And something different for my kids to listen to, and in the car, and I just found you.
Yeah. I bet what happened was you're just tuning along and sampling various things when your radio picked up this show, there's just something about it that held you. I mean, it was kind of like a magnet.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I mean, I look forward to listening to you every day. And
thank you very much.
I even started staying up at night to watch your program. It comes on like at 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's killing me. But
we got a VCR.
Well, right now the one the real good one is in the shop. So, but I will. That's what I'm going to eventually do is just tape them.
Thanks very much. You're very kind. I appreciate it.
I even went to the library and got your Rush to Excellence tours. Rush to Excellence tours.
What, the video?
They're on video.
You didn't know that.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, they're great.
Well, I mean, I know I've seen them. I just didn't know they were available in libraries.
Yeah, they sure are.
That's
I think there's like 3 of them.
Yeah, that's right. There are 3 Rush to Excellence videos.
I was wanting to comment on the Bosnia issue.
Yeah.
Okay, first, if we were going to help Bosnia, we waited too long to get involved. I mean, we waited a long time before we even, went over there to help them to do anything. The second thing is, this conflict has nothing at all to do with the United States. We shouldn't have gone over there to begin with. I mean, we're not going to get anything out of this. Nothing.
Yeah, what I like about it, the same people who said that we shouldn't have gone to Vietnam because it's not a domino effect over there and it's just civil war and all. Same people who are saying we should go to Bosnia. What's Bosnia? It's a civil war, and now they're also saying we got to stop it because next to fall will be Macedonia, and then after that, France, and then Britain.
And we can't solve every problem that goes on in the world. I mean, we have
there are something like 47 or 49 wars going on in the world today, and insurrections, and why we choose this one over other ones is this is just where liberals have decided that they're going to make their compassionate mark. But I'll tell you, Margaret Thatcher. I've quoted her before. I've attended a couple of lectures of hers, and I had the great honor and pleasure of toasting her at a dinner here in New York. And in all of the speeches that she has been making in the last 2 years, when she gets on to Bosnia, she comes up with one line that puts our involvement in total perspective. She says, consensus negates leadership. And that's what we have done. We have put together a consensus policy and let a bunch of people who've never succeeded in prosecuting military action, a war, have never succeeded in keeping the peace, have never succeeded at a thing, the United Nations. We are allowing them to determine what our policy is. We wait for them to make a phone call, tell us what they're going to do with our planes, with our troops, while the president sits around and says such things as, every time we've stood firm, peace has been the winner. And I defy you to find one example of us standing firm during this administration in the area of foreign policy.
We're going to have a hard time pulling the people out of there.
That's right. We're on an up escalator, and there's no down escalator to get unless we just pull out. And the argument could be made. We have suffered such a loss of face now. We are perceived to be so inept and so weak now that can't we lose any ground by pulling out? If we don't define a mission, if we don't go to the American people and say, look, here's our objective, here's our strategy. They did this during the Gulf War. Remember all those press conferences? Colin Powell, Schwarzkopf, here's how we're going to do it, here's what we're going to do. This is when it's going to be over, and here's when we're going to bring the troops home. These are the circumstances necessary for all those things to happen. This is why we're there. None of that's happened in Bosnia.
No. And now since he's turned the troops over to the UN, isn't it going to be like their decision whether or not they get to leave? Or will he get a say in that? Will President Clinton get to say if they get to come home, or?
Sure, he can pull our troops out if he's got the wherewithal to do it. But Clinton is from the generation that thinks the United Nations... Look, what Bill Clinton thinks foreign policy is, you get a bunch of nations together in a room, representatives of nations, hold hands, and talk about your feelings. And let good vibes permeate the minds of the bad guys. And hopefully they'll get... It's kind of like a giant harmonic conversion from atop Mount Shasta. And you hope the waves of goodwill find the brain cells of Radazan Karadzic and whatever, and Milosevic. You hope you find them and able to change them. And that's really, folks, I'm not exaggerating. That is the extent of this administration's foreign policy. It's even, some people suggest we could lift the arms embargo against the Muslims and go ahead and just pull out of there. I never understood this arms embargo. It's a UN-imposed sanction, and what it basically is theorized is that if you let the Muslims have arms, you're going to have an even wider war. So in the meantime, we're sitting around letting people be slaughtered.
You think so? See, I'm a Muslim, and I always thought that they should lift the arms embargo and let them fight their own war. I mean, I feel really bad for all the suffering that's going on over there, but I always thought that they should be able to,
I do too.
Just leave them alone. If they would have given them arms to begin with and just stay out of it.
No, I agree with you. Let them, if they would have been able to defend themselves from the get-go, you're right, it's their own war to win or lose.
And that's all they ever wanted was, just to be left alone. If they lift the arms embargo to begin with, and I said it's costing us so much money too for us to be over there.
Well, yeah, but that's I don't know if the money is the main concern here. It's more. See, here's I say oftentimes, and I know a lot of you people probably don't like it when I say this, but there are a lot of liberals in this country, some of them in our own government, who are just privately celebrating all this. They love it. They love it when the United States looks inept. They love it when the United States looks weak. They love it when the United States military takes it on the chin this way, because they hate the military. They don't like it at all. I think it's a focus of evil. Imperialism, military power, that's cruel and evil, and the world would be better off if we didn't have so much. So anytime we're embarrassed and shellacked, they privately celebrate. Don't publicly say so. But I just know that there are a number of them, and that's why this is wrong, because we are looking weak and inept. And what's the message to any other little tin horn around the world who wants to take pot shots? I mean, the idea is, you know what, we could go ahead and do whatever we want, because Bill Clinton's response is going to be to go to the United Nations and say, make them stop. Gotta go. Thanks very much, Mary Lou. It's Sheila. Great to hear from you, and thank you so much for finding and sticking with the program. A cell call next from Dallas. Hello, Gordon.
Hello, Rush. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Real quick, number one, you made a comment, I don't know how long ago, about we as civilized people here in the United States really cannot fathom some of the atrocities that go on throughout the world. Something to that effect.
Let me what I said was that a single human being, you, me, Lo Bianco, a single human...
Mr. Snerdney.
Right.
Snerdley, right,
Snerdley,
okay.
A single human being.
Right.
By virtue of the way we are constructed, the way we're made,
right,
we could not deal with the full scope of human misery and suffering that goes on in the world today if we were to see it and be aware of it and be around it.
Mm-hmm.
We just couldn't deal with it. We'd go nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Emotionally, psychologically, we would go bonkers.
After all, this is a large world, correct?
It is.
Okay. My question to you is number one, it's obvious that we shouldn't be meddling over there. What long-term effect as far as foreign policy is this going to have? Are we going to see a lot of this this stuff surface that would force us to just to challenge us as a country? What's your opinion on that?
I think the possibility exists, and it's not just Bosnia.
Right.
We were played like a Stradivarius by Mohammed Farah Aidid.
Yep.
This Haiti policy, whatever it is also a joke.
Yep.
And this candidate, this president as a candidate, stood against all these policies that he has now signed on to. Talked tough during the campaign, but has become sort of like mashed potatoes during during the execution of policy. So you never know. Now Bosnia, and then lurking over there is Korea.
That scares
me. You don't know really what's going on there. Now CNN's putting out the story. They got a reporter over there named Mike Shinoy.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he's saying, hey, these guys are not as bad as the press has been reporting. These are just harmless, nice little people. They're not posing that big a threat. I mean, they may not even have a nuke. So we don't know. CNN always gets it right.
Well, I think, pardon me for saying this, with all due respect to the office of the president, but the individual holding that office, I've got to say this, and I'll say it with all due respect here again. We've got a wimp in office. Period. End of subject.
Well, I would use.
I don't know. You probably can't use that language, but
if I thought that was the case, I'd use it. But I don't think wimp is.
What do you think is the proper word?
The proper word is we've got. You can't sum it up in one word. We've got someone who's got two basic characteristics at work here. One, a young man in his formative years who held the military and the use of force in contempt, and was one of those people I was just talking about who thought that the military is what made the United States evil and bad and mean and rotten. Now he's in charge of it. You also have someone who has no qualifications as a result.
Absolutely.
No experience whatsoever. So that's what I think our problem is.
Well, you know what, and I'll finalize this thought.
The guy's not a wimp. I mean, this guy faces hits every... I would not call him a wimp.
Well,
I would say he's just got a misguided notion about how world conflicts... He doesn't understand that this is a world governed by the aggressive use of force, not communes.
But like you say, that he bases all his principles and thoughts on the feelings of the day and his focus groups and all that mess.
Yeah.
And, you know...
that's what's got to really be tearing them apart, because their focus groups have got to be telling them nobody cares about this. Well, and what's making them